Welcome to Soltron. This is a video review for Don Zenkaioh and the DX Zenkaijuuoh. Okay, so I had this idea that I was actually going to combine these two robots to make a robot that's like more proportional than the actual combinations. And then I saw that these were like $35 each on Amazon Japan, and I decided to go for it. But now that I have them in hand, I'm having like massive second thoughts. I don't think it's going to happen. But this is kind of what my like custom combination would have looked like. I think the bike half of this robot looks really cool. I really don't like this half. It looks kind of a mess. There's just like too much different things going on, and together they're not cohesive at all. They really do not form together well. So I think I'm going to give up on this custom idea. But you can see the proportions are actually pretty good. They're both pretty beefy on both sides. They actually mirror each other fairly nicely. Okay, and let's look at the actual Zenkaio combination. It looks like this. I don't know where this sword's supposed to go. I just threw it there. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into this. I'm not super into these robots, which is why I never bought them. But yeah, again, the bike side looks really cool and cohesive, and then the other side just looks kind of trash. I'd say this combination, um, it just does not work very well. I'd say these two robots look like they combine into a two. They look pretty awful together. At least the colors match up, but yeah, this is not a good look. I don't like it. Um, I kind of almost want to get another one of these bikes and just have two bikes combined together. It would look a lot cooler. Yeah, so that's this robot. Proportions are, yeah, really good on the bike side, and then they just fall apart on this side. I think the head also is just way too big. It looks so goofy. It's just not a cool looking robot at all. I really do like this laser shield, and the sword is really cool. And then he doesn't have head articulation. He does have the 360 on the arm here. And then this arm can sort of move, but the shield gets in the way, so it can go like this. But the shield is kind of goofy that it's just like tabbed into the forearm. It's not even like held by his hand, or I guess if I take this shield off, no, it can't even. Well, maybe if I lower these things. Yeah, I can't even peg into the forearm. What a mess. I don't know. What were they thinking with this robot, honestly? Like, this is so sad. But anyway, the quality feels really good on these guys. They're definitely a 10 on quality, so that's nice. And there is like a little seam between these guys, but I think it's because I didn't take out the battery terminal saver. So I'm not going to actually go over the battery functions. And then the bike side has this cool little spinner from Don Brothers. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so articulation's pretty poor on this guy. And then to transform him, or to separate them, you're going to take off this eagle head. And it does have like a crest that slides up and down. It's a little pointless. So he does have some parts forming. And then you just rip these two guys in half, and they're just held in place by these little tabs. I think these two. Is there a third tab? No, it looks like these are the only two tabs that really hold them together. Oh no, and then there's these two up here. So there's 4 tabs. It just sandwiches together, and that's it. So to get the other combination, we just grab the Kaijuo here, and we just use those same tabs and just sandwich everything together. And normally he'd be making a lot of noise and whatnot, but I'm not going to bother with that. And then here's this combination. And here's the Zen Kaijuo combination. It's, I don't know. It looks okay. It's, oh man, just this side is just so ugly. This side, I think, actually turns out looking pretty cool. But they do not look like they really belong together. Yeah, this combination's kind of like a 3 for me. It just looks very wrong. And here's a look at the head. Okay, it's something. Yeah, it just looks like a lot of stuff is going on in there, and it just does not flow together well at all. Looks like very cybernetic. It kind of looks like a Power Rangers enemy. Actually, it looks like a bad guy. It doesn't look heroic or well proportioned at all. But anyway, it's cool that he's got this sword. This feels actually pretty good. And then combining these figures is pretty fun. So I guess on the fun factor, and then probably with the sounds that it makes and everything, it's probably pretty fun to play with. But this is not my kind of robot. This might be good for like a kid, but I don't get it. It's not for me. But yeah, I guess the fun factor, everything like fits together pretty well and clicks together very nicely and satisfyingly. So I guess if you're into like these designs, the fun factor is probably like, I don't know, 7. It's pretty fun. Yeah, I forgot to look at the boxes. So here's the box for the Zenkaio or Don Zenkaioh, and this looks incredible. Wow, what an amazing looking robot. Too bad he doesn't actually look like that, but this is really exciting. If I lived in Japan, I'd probably be buying a lot more toys. The box art is just so good. And then you look at the back and you can see he's a lot sadder than he actually looks. And Zen Kaijuo, very exciting box art again. And then it shows you the combination. And then even this combination, or the normal mode, looks pretty cool too, the basic mode. But yeah, very exciting box art again. Yeah, and a pretty negative thing about this is like all the pieces, you can't even use them in these modes. Like he has this extra shield, and this just does nothing in this mode. It'd be nice if maybe this like peg onto his hand would actually become a shield, but it doesn't have a place to do that. And then you get the whole drill tail, and this doesn't go anywhere either. This can't even peg onto the back. It's just, there's no place for this. And then you get this whole little weird guy, which I don't know is the gimmick for the series. There's these little guys. I don't know, what's the point of this? And then like he does have moving arms, opening mouth, but he looks very wrong. He's got a giant monster head coming out of his chest. He's got a whole nother face on his other side for a different combination, which is actually pretty cool looking. But yeah, what? Oh, and his head turns. Okay, so you can make that neutral face, and then this doesn't do anything because this always has the face showing anyway. Okay, I don't get it. Yeah, so let's look at some of these other modes. So we just rip this guy in half. Let's I haven't actually transformed this guy, so I'm not sure how he works, but I know we got to take all these extra little bits off. He's got another little random piece of parts forming. That's all it's for, is to get the gun on his shoulder. Like they didn't really plan it out very well. And then I know these are going to become his legs, and then this whole thing is going to fold in half up here, and then this leg is going to fold back in, and here's the robot's head. Okay, so this is going to become his chest, and then the visor flips up and these become his arms, and then this is just going to rotate. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's this robot mode. Let's not spend too much time. Okay, this actually looks decent. It's got kind of like a shield-like thing going on. Oh, actually, he does have a shield. Where does this? Oh, it probably pegs like right here, right? Okay, so he's got like a sword and shield. He looks okay. He's got a good homage to that original Mighty Morphing Megazord. He's got really ugly kibble back here and just awful looking legs that don't work. I think these robots could have been a lot better if they would have just done away with this whole mode. This was kind of senseless, but maybe it was like a big part of the show, so I don't know. But yeah, this robot, he looks kind of painful actually. He looks like a mutation. He's kind of like a Yeah, I really hate it. He's kind of a 2. 3, if I'm being generous. Like the colors at least work, but I think he looks okay from maybe like the knees up. But all this, yeah, he's bad. He's just bad. I don't like it. He does have rotating head, so that's nice. You never really see that. 360 on the arms, so that's also pretty nice. So he does have some play value. He doesn't have any knees unless you count whatever is happening here. And definitely no waist. And then he has another mode, which is probably more why he suffers. So he's going to transform. Oh man, I'm not even sure. It's got something like this. And then this probably just goes somewhere. Oh man, are these just going to parts form? Is that what's going to happen? Let me look at the box. Oh wow, I was almost right. This is actually kind of how he looks. You just rotate these up, and then his head stays here and just faces backwards. These don't even fold out. And then this shield like folds in half and becomes his stomach, it looks like. Goes into here somehow. How? Ooh. Wow. And here's his sword for his tail. Wow. I can't believe this is a thing. This is a 1. I don't want to be negative, but I don't know that I've ever seen an uglier alt mode. Wow. It's breathtaking. Okay, well that's enough of this guy. Let's get rid of him. Let's focus on the much cooler robot. So this guy is actually kind of cool on his own. So he does some really interesting things. So first off, you're going to take the foot and just slide that back in place. And for some reason, this foot even has like a little release button to release it. It seems kind of pointless. But anyway, you're going to rotate his waist around, and then you're going to open up the chest here, and that's going to let you swivel the arm. Oh, I did it backwards. It swivels this way, and then you can close up the chest. And then this other arm is actually going to have to parts form, and that ends up back here on the other side. And then you're just going to rotate these missiles up, and then you rotate the robot head up, and then you can put these cannons can just go behind the arm here, which makes a cool looking like underslung cannon look, which is pretty good. And then you get that chest crest from earlier that wasn't doing anything, and this is just going to peg in right here on the chest. And then you can get the tail weapon. This has like a nice little fin to make it look more balanced. And then it's got this handle here, so we can hold it like this, or you can use this other handle so we can hold it like the old school staff where he's not using it, he's just standing with it. So it's cool that they made those two handles, so this can actually look like, so we can actually hold it like a weapon, which is pretty rare for Megazords. They never even give you the option. Usually they just have to hold it up and down. Okay, and I kind of like this robot mode. Yeah, okay, this is a robot that I feel much better about. Like everything fits together really well. It's nice. Yeah, he's very cohesive looking. He looks really good, and he's got a good homage to that Power Rangers Dragonzord if you're into that. It's not really a big deal to me, but he looks pretty good. I like this robot. He's kind of like a 6 or a 7. Pretty solid. Let's say a 6. His back is pretty ugly, and then his head is definitely too big for my tastes. It would be nice if it was a little smaller, but I guess he's supposed to represent a little guy in a suit, not an actual robot, but like an alien or whatever. And I think he's supposed to be in scale with this guy. I think they're supposed to be the same size. I don't know. I never watched the show. But he's supposed to be, yeah, I think these are supposed to be the human-sized whatever, Rangers. And then, yeah, they don't really scale very well, do they? And then this guy just looks so much cooler. And then articulation, he's just got, of course, the arm rotation. Actually, no, he does have legs too. So he does have like a full forward kick and then knees, which was, and then like some backward knee. So, or a backward kick. So that's pretty cool. He's actually got some articulation to him. So that's pretty fun. It'd be nice if he had elbows. I think that would have made this guy a lot better. And then another thing he can do is actually hold his guns. So this guy by himself is a pretty fun figure. I think if they did more of this in this line, I think I would have liked this series a lot more if they just made some more cohesive robots like this guy. And then he does have like an entirely other mode. And then, of course, he's still got this little guy that's just kind of there. But he's got a whole nother mode. So you just flip up his fist missiles, kind of rotate that forward a little bit. You're going to slice his face in half and fold that down. And then you're going to rip off this chest mouth of the smaller robot. And that's just going to peg in here. You can open that up a little bit. And then you're going to use the knee articulation. And then he does have like a forward click on the ankles. And you just face that forward. And then finally, you're going to finish this off. Go ahead and fold this fin back in place. Then fold this up. And then this is going to slide. You got to get the handle out of the way. This is going to slide into like under his crotch area. And then you get this cool looking robot. And then you got to peg in the guns on the back. And then this guy actually does something, which is nice. He like face these fists forward. I'm not sure which way it goes, maybe this way. And then you're just going to shove these fists into the back of the kaiju. And here he is, his kaiju mode, so his Dragonzord mode. I'm not super into this. It's a cool extra thing you can do though. So I'd say this robot's kind of like, or this alt mode is kind of like a 5. It's definitely awkward looking. Elbow joints would have helped out a lot. But he's okay. It's not the best thing in the world, but he's pretty fun. It's a cool thing he can do, and he's got this pretty awesome T-Rex head or dragon head. I think this is more like the Time Force robot this reminds me of. There was like I think it could walk and it would shoot missiles. But it's cool to blend the two together, and he's really heavily armed, so that's pretty awesome. His tail looks a little unfortunate. Could have used some ball joints or something, but not bad. And he's still got those leg joints, but I don't know what you could really do in this mode. He's pretty much a statue. You can kind of move his arms, but he's not going to turn his head or anything. But he looks cool. And then he does have like another, well, he's got like a fan mode, which is pretty cool, which is like an homage to the oh geez, I don't even know what it's called, that Power Rangers show where they were all pirates, because that one had like a robot that was similar to this that I had a long time ago. But yeah, you're going to take off the guns and everything, and you're just going to basically fold this guy into a block, and then I guess you can keep this chest piece on, and go ahead and rip his dino face back off. And then you can peg the cannons back into the back of his shoulders. They kind of fit. The clearance isn't quite there, but it mostly works. And then you can take this whole drill assembly, and then you can slot it here very precariously. This is like a fan mode. It's not meant to work, but it does. And then unfortunately, he doesn't have like a way of sitting upright. And then you just take this little pirate guy or whatever he is, and then he can basically ride on this thing, this drill ship. And actually that looks kind of cool. I'm into this. All right, and here's a good look at that. That's pretty awesome. I like that that's something you can do even though it's not official. It looks very official. It looks like something it should have done. And then unfortunately there's not really a place for this guy to stand. You can kind of go up here, I don't know. Seems like he would stand back here better. There you go. But yeah, that's a pretty cool looking ship mode, actually. With the cannons facing forward, yeah, it's really good. So fun factor on this figure, even though he's lacking a ton of articulation, he is like a 10. There's just so much he can do. It's really incredible, all the engineering they fit into this guy. And yeah, they had to make some very clear sacrifices, but you saw everything he can do. That's pretty fun. He's just got so many different modes. Okay, and then let's move on to the thing that I think is the coolest, like turning this guy into a bike. So you're just going to take off the sword, you have to parts form the arm, you have to parts form the chest, the head, everything's going to come off pretty much. And then you're going to rotate this, and then it's going to do one click down. So he does have like one little click of articulation. And then you're just going to shove the arm into the chest cavity. And then you take the sword, and that's going to peg down here, in the back of the leg. And then this is going to peg into the bottom of the foot. So it becomes like a fin for the bike, and you can see the bike is starting to take shape. So then you take the combined mode head, and the little beak is going to peg in right there. And you're going to make sure this crest is folded all the way down. And then this shield is going to peg into this clip right here. And there you have a really good looking bike. Okay, yeah, this is a good looking bike. I would say this is like an 8. It's pretty solid. Compared to the other robot forms so far, it's probably really a 10, but overall, excellent looking bike. All right, and then let's see who can ride on this bike. So it would be cool if this guy could actually ride it. It would actually give some play value, but no. So Juran cannot ride this bike. His legs just don't work that way. This little guy, of course, is not going to do anything useful. I guess that kind of works. You can flip up the little seat here. Okay, well, I'm not that interested in getting him to ride it. And then, unfortunately, this guy's not going to be able to ride the bike at all. He just can't fold his legs correctly to do it. I guess if I ripped off, or if we spread his leg here. There you go. You can get this kind of bike mode. Does it look good? Not really. But he could sort of do it. I don't have any Yudo figures anymore, so let's go ahead and get some Transformers on this guy. So we'll do my most Japanese Optimus Prime. I don't think he's going to fit because he's got a huge backpack. Probably have to leave this seat down. There's Optimus Prime on him. And then the handlebars are way down here, which is pretty awkward for him. But that mostly works. I think that looks pretty good, right? Yeah, I'm into that. That's a pretty good look. And then Minerva mostly works. If it wasn't for like this huge bump right here, she could actually sit more flush and this would look a lot better. If I lift this up, her backpack is like too big. I guess I can lift the backpack up. All right, never mind. Okay, so yeah, that works. So deluxe size figures look pretty good on this thing. And then I think the person who looks the best, we have to take her gun off her back, is Override. And then while I have this figure out, did you know this figure's a transformer? I think in the Japanese show, she was actually a male in Cybertron. Oh yeah, and that looks, yeah, that looks actually really awesome. Oh, that makes me so sad that this robot doesn't have a good half that he can combine with, because this looks pretty cool. Yeah, I really like this combination. Oh, this looks so good. She doesn't really have handles that she can reach, but wow. Yeah, it looks like it was meant for her. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do need to buy another bike and just have it combine with itself. All right, anyway, that's a review of these figures. I hate them. You're probably going to find them on my sales link. But you can also get them on Amazon Japan. Everything's really cheap now because the Japanese yen is really low, so it's a good time to buy up some Japanese robots from Amazon. All right, and I'll see you in the next review.